What's up, everybody? Welcome to Yakuza 4 Fact or Fiction. My name is Damon Hatfield. We're here to determine how much of the recently released Yakuza 4 is accurate and how much of it is just video game craziness. We are joined by Jake Adelstein, Yakuza expert and author of the recently released Tokyo Vice. He was an American reporter living in Japan, covering the Japanese crime scene. Jake, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So give us a brief synopsis of what the Yakuza actually is all about.
All right, the Yakuza differ from their Italian counterparts in that they are recognized by the Japanese government as groups that exist with offices and phone numbers, business cards. There are 6 fan magazines for them. They are not a secret society. They are regulated much the way that the SEC would regulate Goldman Sachs. One of the reasons they're tolerated in Japanese society is they have clear rules of conduct of what you can and can't do. And the rules, which are usually written on the walls of any Yakuza office, are no theft, no dealing in drugs, no robbery, no rape, nothing that contradicts the noble way, which is how they see themselves. They see themselves as a civic-minded organization like the Boy Scouts or the Kiwanis Club that is protecting order in Japan, and occasionally, if lots of their members engage in extortion or blackmail or violent assault, that just happens.
Well, today we're going to look at some clips from the game, and maybe you can sort of shed some light on what is accurately representing Yakuza culture here. So this is a very common scene in Yakuza games. You're wandering down the street minding your own business and someone wants to pick a fight with you. But in real life, I assume that Yakuza don't engage in fist fights.
No. Okay. This is set in what is, a virtual Kabukicho. Kabukicho being the red light district of Tokyo. Kabukicho is now littered with security cameras, which you can actually see in the game if you really look for them. So you're having a fight here with this guy. Well, you've just given the police enough evidence to arrest you. Also, if you actually had people, picking fights with you on the streets, no one would come to the entertainment district, and the Yakuza would make no money. I mean, they need for the streets to be clean and not to have street crime in order for people to go there and spend their cash. It's not in their best interest. The other thing is, nowadays, no self-respecting Yakuza is going to beat up a civilian. Why? Because the civil law in Japan now says that any crime committed by the lower-ranking soldiers is something that the boss has to pay for. So, for example, if you beat up someone and you're a low-ranking soldier, he can go take your boss to court, and he'll have to pay the medical fees. That's not going to make your boss happy. And also, he's a cop. Who's going to be stupid enough to try and beat up a cop?
Okay, so here our hero is in what is called a hostess club.
Oh yeah, and it's totally accurate, even the way she lights his cigarettes in the stylish manner. A hostess club is kind of like a virtual date. You go in there, you pick the girl that you think is most attractive, you have a conversation, she flirts with you, you buy the drinks, and then it's over. It never amounts to anything.
Well, so what's the Yakuza's connection to a hostess club? Would they own a hostess bar or something?
All the hostess clubs are going to be paying protection money to the Yakuza, so they get a cut of all the earnings. And the other connection to the Yakuza is customers come there, and some of them end up, especially the very wealthy company presidents, end up having affairs with the hostesses, turn them into mistresses. And then that becomes information that the Yakuza can use to blackmail the company president and get an inroad into the company and then do very large-scale financial fraud.
That leads into our next clip here, which is in a massage parlor, sort of not so subtly implying a happy ending at the end of a massage. You hear about that sort of thing happening all the time, but that's actually legal in Japan, isn't it?
It's completely legal. You can advertise it. As a matter of fact, there are zoning laws that apply that any sexual act other than vaginal penetration that you could possibly want is available for a fee at the right place and at the right time. So the implied happy ending here is definitely provided, and it's legal.
We're going to end with one of the most exciting scenes in Yakuza 4 here. This is like a very violent mob hit in a ramen shop.
Right.
This is a mass murder scene. How realistic is this?
This is probably based on a real-life incident in somewhere around 2002 or 2003 when there was a gang war between the Sumiyoshi Kai and the Inagawa Kai. And the Sumiyoshi Kai member walked into this snack bar, kind of like a karaoke bar, and shot and killed 3 people and injured more. One man, bam, 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 bam. Yeah. Then later, he went and killed another gang boss in a hospital. As a general rule, the Yakuza don't kill people, and they're very reluctant to kill civilians because it brings down heat from the cops. The unstated rule is katagi ni mewaku kakenai, which is do not cause any inconvenience to ordinary citizens, non-Yakuza. Right? Whether they adhere to that or not, that is the part of the Yakuza code that everyone knows. And obviously, killing a civilian in the crossfire, that's a bad one. One thing that is unrealistic about this scene is most Yakuza are terrible shots because guns are so regulated in Japan that there's no place to practice. It's a very small place. A lot of times the first time a Yakuza fires a gun, he misfires or he hits the wall or he doesn't hit his target because they haven't had practice. I mean, we can assume that maybe Saejima has gone to the Philippines on a gun tour and trained himself to hit accurately.
Assuming, yeah.
And he is shooting at very close range, but a lot of times Yakuza miss their targets, even when they're firing up close because they've never used a gun before. They're very hard to get a hold of in Japan.
Wow. Now, obviously, SEGA wasn't making a Yakuza simulation with Yakuza 4. It is a video game, but it's really interesting to find out all the parts of the game that actually are informed by real Yakuza culture. So, Jake, thanks for coming by today, sharing your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
If any of you want to know more about the actual Yakuza, check out Jake's book, Tokyo Vice. It's available now. And for all of your info on Yakuza 4, keep it locked here to IGN.com.